I recently spent hours struggling to organize and edit a massive hour-long fan film until I finally found a better way to handle my footage. I decided to take the entire raw shoot, including those messy green screen passes and shaky hero shots, and upload it directly into Vizard. The AI immediately analyzed the footage and started identifying the most engaging moments like breaths, reactions, and intense action beats. Unlike other tools that just chop up audio spikes, this actually prioritized the cinematic pauses and subtle movements that give action scenes their weight. It also intelligently keeps just enough buffer before and after each clip, so you do not lose that vital dramatic tension during your edits. If you are a control freak like me, you can actually adjust the settings to favor human faces over wide shots or emphasize emotional beats over raw spectacle. The aspect ratio presets were a huge lifesaver, perfectly cropping my landscape footage into vertical reels without losing the main subjects. I have tried a dozen other platforms, but most of them either charge extra for basic features or lack the editorial sense to handle long-form content correctly. While other tools forced me to manually export and schedule every single piece of content, this workflow kept everything in one cohesive place. Once the AI did the heavy lifting, I simply trimmed the clips and added a bit of flair, which saved me an entire day of post-production. The automated scheduling feature is honestly the part that feels like a superpower, letting me set my content to drip out over the entire week. Using the visual calendar helped me spot potential pacing issues in my feed, so I could swap in behind-the-scenes shots to keep the audience engaged. The system actually learns from your edits, so if I trimmed a shaky bit of camera movement, it got smarter about what to suggest next time. I was also able to batch apply my brand's custom caption style to every single clip in one go, ensuring everything looked consistent. You can even add a subtle watermark or brand plate, so that even if your clips are shared by others, people always know where they came from. I want to be clear that this isn't a replacement for creative tools like generative image software or 3D compositors, but it is the perfect glue to bind those assets together. I kept using my specialized software to create the flashy visuals, then just dropped those final renders into the platform for distribution. The combination gave me the best of both worlds, using bespoke visuals from generative tools and scalable distribution via the AI workflow. At the end of the day, the trailer I produced felt cohesive because it wasn't just random clips, but a curated experience for the viewer. I pulled out 5 vertical hooks, 2 landscape teasers, and a behind-the-scenes cut, all coming from that single raw shoot. Instead of spending a full day on editing and another full day on posting, I condensed that entire process into a few hours of strategic work. If you are making long-form stuff like interviews, game streams, or indie films, you need a workflow that handles the heavy lifting for you. You can transform that content into a consistent social presence without burning out or losing your mind over manual exporting. Use your fancy creative tools to craft the visuals, and then use the AI editor to turn them into a disciplined social machine. It is not a silver bullet for creativity, but it is the part of the tech stack that finally makes publishing feel like a solved problem. I honestly feel like I have put my social channels on autopilot while keeping everything perfectly curated and on brand. If you have ever posted sporadically and burned through your best content in one day, you know exactly why having a schedule is so valuable. The calendar view really makes you think like a publisher, rather than a frantic person who is just posting at the last minute. There were a few moments where the AI's picks were not perfect, like a slow-motion punch that had a bit of unwanted camera wobble. Instead of scrapping the whole thing, I just trimmed the start a hair and let the system reevaluate the footage for me. The workflow is iterative in a really productive way where you teach the tool your preferences through quick, simple edits. For creators who obsess about brand cohesion, the bulk actions are genuinely great for managing large libraries of clips. That capability alone saves hours of repetitive work because captions are basically non-negotiable now if you actually want to grow your reach. What this platform does best is glue your long-form content to social media with a surprisingly high level of editorial intelligence. It lets you take the raw material of your creative process and shape it into a consistent narrative that your audience will actually want to follow. The trailer I eventually produced felt cohesive, and it pulled together all the best moments from that one single afternoon of filming. I realized that swapping in a behind-the-scenes close-up as a breather between heavy fight clips kept the momentum but did not overwhelm the viewer. The calendar view acts like a bird's-eye perspective, allowing you to see exactly where your high-energy content is landing during the week. You can drag and drop your posts around, which is a tiny UX thing that ends up saving you some serious headaches later on. Everything feels like a natural extension of the creative process rather than a separate, tedious task you have to force yourself to do. Even if you are not using AI to generate the core content, you can still use it to manage the distribution and formatting of everything you create. This allows you to focus on the big picture ideas instead of getting bogged down in the minute details of resizing and scheduling. It bridges that frustrating gap between having a finished project and actually sharing it with the world in an effective way. You start to realize that consistent presence is just as important as the quality of the individual videos you are producing. The workflow is simple, effective, and it takes away the parts of the job that usually make creators quit or burn out. So if you're making content and you want to turn it into a consistent social presence, you really should give a workflow like this a try. It's not just about saving time. It's about actually having the freedom to create more without being overwhelmed by the logistics. Alright, go make some awesome things with your new setup because I can't wait to see the clips you guys turn out. Be well, do good, and keep creating because the world definitely needs more of what you have to offer. Seriously, just dive in, upload that footage, and let the AI do its thing so you can get back to the part of the job you actually love.